from this morning when needed. Okay, so that's us recording. So the next part is like the marketing mix, product in place. We spoke a little bit about that. What is it you're going to have going on? Where are you going to do that? You know, for instance, we talked about boxing there. You might be doing that in a boxing gym that's outside of the gym you work at, but you might want to bring some of your clients along. So that's something that can maybe be added in there. Like it says, there is new trends that pop up all the time. I'm sure you guys have seen a few of them already. You know, I've seen a ton over the time. Very few will actually stick and stay. The only one that jumps to mind is a kind of TRX. That was a product that was launched a long time ago, and then all of a sudden it stuck, and now it's part of almost every gym. So again, these things will pop up and go away, but what are you going to offer? What are the core elements of your offering, and where are you going to do them from? So is it just personal training? Do you sell it in blocks? Is there going to be some add-ons to it? You know, maybe you know about kinesiology, or maybe you know about functional training. Maybe you want that to be your add-on. Shan, you talked about the kind of strength and conditioning side almost of boxing. So that could be an add-on for somebody who takes a little bit of a boxing course with you. So have a little think about that product, what you can offer, because that will help the person obviously decide to partake in personal training. Marketing mix. This is the kind of thing they want you to start thinking about. Now, this is as a personal trainer yourself, not as what's going to be in your workbook, because the workbook stuff is going to be completely different. But what are you going to offer your clients? Kind of like what I was ascertaining earlier on. But what are you not going to offer? What is something you don't want to do? Have a little think about that, because sometimes there'll be people who will come up and ask for a certain type of training. Maybe you don't like doing that. Maybe that's something you should then pass them on to somebody else. What days of the week do you want to work? Like I said earlier on, I used to work at the weekend. So I used to take a Wednesday off. That used to be my day off. I'd take Wednesday off, but I would work Saturday and Sunday. So I would still work in the busy days and the busy nights. And then I would also have a little bit of weekend work in there. When are you going to take holidays? Have you thought about that? When we're talking about holidays, guys, a really good thing to think about is, when will your clients take holidays? Because if the majority of your clients are taking holidays, that's a perfect time for you to take holidays, because there's going to be less people for you to train, and there's going to be less money to be made. So therefore, if you look at the trends in the industry, when kind of PTs are busy and when they're not so busy, then you can start to look at when holidays would be best for you. So if we think about it, January, very busy time of the year. February, really busy time of the year. March, still really busy. April starts to decline a little bit. May starts to decline a little bit. June and July, people go on summer holidays. People have the kids over the holidays. So there's decline in personal training. Then kids go back to school. Summer holidays are over. People go back to work or get new jobs. That all happens around August, September time. So we have a big boom all the way through September into October. By the time we get to the end of October, we then have a downturn in the industry. It starts to get a little bit less in demand. And then December, it's kind of like a ghost town. You know, people tend to just start giving up on their goals, don't come to the gym as often because they've got family commitments or things going on in life. So we want to make sure that we understand the trends of the industry so we can take our own time off, because we need that or you'll burn out. So always remember to take time off for yourself so you don't have that burnout factor. It gives you an example here, which is quite good. You know, gym-based PT company. So you're self-employed in a gym. You might be doing 12 hours a week to help out. And then you're going to have to work your PT round about those hours. So if you're working, say, I don't know, 4 hours a day, 3 times a week, and you want to be doing 20 sessions, that's 32 hours of work in total. Can you fit that all around to fit your life, to allow you to train yourself, to allow you to have a life outside of the gym, to deal with family commitments, to do anything else that you would like to do? That's all going to have to be factored in. Health and lifestyle assessments, PT one-to-one, couple training, nutritional analysis, small group sessions, all kind of things that we talked about earlier on. They could be your offers. You know, not everybody's going to want to do nutritional analysis or small group training. So again, you get to cherry pick what you want to be known for. Monday to Friday, happy to cover classes, add in appointments as they come. But Saturday, Sunday's off. That's a traditional kind of personal trainer. You know, holidays, there you go, May, September, December. When those downturns, I wouldn't take September off. That's maybe a no-go. September is probably the busiest month of the year. And I mean busier than January. So I would probably discount ever taking September off, just as something to put in your diaries. But yeah, certainly taking May, December off, you know, those would be absolutely fine. And that gives you a kind of idea of an example of how you could get your product and get your place and know what you're doing. And again, it's really going to be down to yourself what you do with those. The price we talked about, helping people get value for money. As I said, a low price is not always good. People don't always want to buy the lowest price service. They want to see value in what they're buying. Price reductions can be powerful short-term strategy boosts. Again, I spoke about giving discounts to people. You know, it might be the first time they book sessions with me, I'll give them that discount, but they won't get it every single time. You know, maybe if they're a student, they will. Maybe if they work for the NHS, maybe if they work for the police or armed services, I would extend that. But if it's just an average person who I've went out my way to give them a discount first time, I would explain that it's only in the first block that they get a discount. That way it doesn't devalue my product and it shows them that there is value in what they're paying for. Again, considerations, what are your clients willing to pay? So look at what the other PTs are paying. What other PTs are charging and how busy are they? You know, if you go in at £50 an hour and everybody's charging 30, you probably won't get as many clients. So have a look at what your competitors charge. Look at what people in the immediate area, other gyms in your area, what are PTs charging there? And how much will customers tolerate paying? So I used to work in a gym where a lot of the PTs were charging £25, £30 an hour. And I decided to up my rates to 50 and still got clients. The reason the PTs were going in so low is because they were almost desperate for clients to build a business, whereas I wasn't too fussed. You know, I have established business. So I was like, well, if I'm going to put in extra hours, I'm going to charge a premium rate. And because people heard about that, they started to see my service as more premium. So they started paying more. They would tolerate that. They wouldn't tolerate that if the entire gym was £50 an hour, I don't think. So you can get clients that will pay more. Most clients, they want to pay the average price. So have a little look about that. And again, obviously with the current climate, people might have a little bit less. So sticking around the kind of average is probably best. Does the price meet the market mix? Again, we spoke about how the average in the UK is £35. The average in Scotland is roughly about 30, with the exception of Aberdeen, which is 45 to 50. London, you can have 45, 50 upwards. You know, there's some trainers in London that charge £100, you know. So again, it really depends on where you are and then meeting the customer in the market. How much does it cost to provide your service? When you're a new PT, probably not a lot, but as you build your business, there might be some extra costs involved. Client might get a vest top or a hoodie when they sign up with you. That comes with a cost. Are you going to put that cost into your business, or are you going to make it a part of the cost of buying personal training? So again, that was brought up earlier on about the promotion side of stuff. And that is something to consider, really is. Be mindful that a business takes time to grow. Any personal training business takes time to grow. The fortunate thing for yourselves is you have been in the gym. You know, you have been speaking to people. You should maybe have a list already of people who are potential clients, people who want to work with you. And that's really going to help you get a kickstart on your business. I wish some of the time I would have got that help, but you know, you can build a business from scratch. You can go in and make sure that you make an impact, but you guys have already been doing that. So you are set up to get that achievement going. So how much do you want to earn per year? We usually divide by 11 because we take a month off the year. You know, we usually take 4 weeks holiday. You might not want to take 4 weeks holiday, so don't worry about it if you want to have less, but I would recommend getting your 4 weeks if you can. So we want to divide the monthly income you want to get by how much you're charging. This will give you the number of sessions you want to deliver per month. So there's a nice little example here. If you want to earn £20,000, divide it by 11. That means you have to earn £1,880 per month for 11 months. That, if we divide it by 35, which is the average session of the UK, we get 52 sessions per month. And that means that you need to do 13 sessions per week, roughly. Remember, some months will have 5 weeks, some have 4. So it's roughly about 13 sessions per week. That's not a lot to earn 20 grand, you know? So you can imagine PTs, when we say PTs can earn a lot of money, you double that, 26 sessions, you're earning 40 grand a year. Obviously, other things will need to come into consideration, like the tax. Always keep a little bit of tax aside, because then when it comes to the end of the year, you're not going to struggle to pay any tax bill. So whatever you make per month, I used to always put 20% in the bank. That was just put aside, and I never touched that. That way I could always pay off my tax bill at the end of the year. Any expenses and stuff, obviously budget for them. But this is a nice way to kind of think about how much you want to earn. So you might have a figure in your head just now, divide it by 11. That's going to show you how much you need to make per month. Divide that by how much you charge per session. Divide that by how many weeks there are in a month, and that will give you the sessions per week. It's a nice, easy thing to do. And you can do that obviously in your own time to kind of think about what you want to earn. Product and price. So I was speaking a little bit about this earlier on as well, guys. You might want to do the block booking kind of thing. So there you go, £450, 10 sessions. So that'd be £45 per session. And it's 12 weeks they get before it expires. So you might want to put a cap on how long they have to take those sessions. Personally, I usually go for the monthly option. So they buy a monthly package with me, and if they don't complete the sessions in the month, unfortunately they lose them. If I'm at fault and I can't be available for a session, then I would allow them to roll that session into the next month. You might go for packages. The very first thing I ever did as a PT was I had bronze, silver and gold PT packages. Does anybody see any issue with doing bronze, silver, or gold packages? Nobody see any issues?
What's gold, silver?
So say bronze was like your basic package. You get 4 sessions a month. That's it. Silver, you might do 4 sessions and you get nutrition as well. And then gold, you might get all sorts of other added on things.
Okay.
I'll tell you the problem with this, guys, because it's not obvious when you see it there. But if you charge different rates for bronze, silver, and gold, people tend to go for the cheapest package. So that's actually a marketing technique we use, and it's something that I've learned over the years. If you put too many options in front of a person, they will 9 times out of 10 pick the cheapest option. So you don't want to put loads of options in front of people. You want to say, I do this or I do that. And usually I'll have a medium price and an expensive price, because then if somebody wants to buy personal training, maybe they'll buy the expensive package, but more times than not, they'll just go for the medium price. So that's, and from there, if they can't afford that, that's when I would offer them different services, different things that might be in their price bracket. But I would always only have those 2 options available to start with. And then off the top of my head, just start to explain those other things involved. And I usually do that at the end of a consultation. The pay monthly option is the one I usually use, because some months have 4 weeks, some months have 5 weeks. So if I'm getting somebody to do 4 sessions in a month, sometimes they'll do 1 less, you know? So it just depends. And I can sometimes deliver the extra session free of charge if it suits me, if it's a good thing for your business. Or sometimes we just make that a deload week or a week off for the client, depending on where their training kind of falls. Always remember what's included in your package. What is the client going to receive? All my clients personally receive a welcome pack. It's a digital welcome pack I made up myself. Explains a little bit more about who I am, what they're getting, what will be done, and what I want them to do. And they have to sign it because it involves my PARQ, my contract, my informed consent. That's all included in my welcome pack. And then they send it back to me, and that's me. I've got everything I need for them before I get started. And again, there's an investment pack. So sometimes you might want to get somebody who just does the odd session here and there to really invest in getting their own maybe lifts better. They might want to just concentrate on doing a deadlift. So they might do a 30-minute session with you just on deadlifts. So it might not be your hourly rate. Or sometimes there's people who want to spend 2 hours with you. You know, it doesn't always have to be 1 hour. So we can charge what we think is appropriate for that as well. Again, this is where we think about what services you want to order and what kind of problems you might face. So what if you were late? What's going to happen? Does the client just lose out on the time? Or what I usually do is, if I haven't informed the client I'm going to be late for some reason, I would give them a free session, complimentary session. You know, that's my bad. I would deliver what time is left, and then I would give them a complimentary session. But I never really had to do that very often. It's maybe once every odd year. So again, being on time is obviously good, but I show good faith by saying, if I'm ever late, I'll give you a complimentary session. If they're late, that means when I take a session away, they can respect the fact that they've done something wrong, you know? So it works both ways when you have that kind of thing set up. What happens if you forget the booking? You know, that's bad diary management. So again, I use a physical diary. I write everybody down there and then, so that I've always got a marker for what I'm supposed to be doing. The client is late. As I've said, I usually will try fulfill the session if they're less than 15 minutes late. And if they're more than 15 minutes late, I usually charge them for the full session and not train them, because 45 minutes or less is probably not enough. And if the client doesn't show and doesn't give me a reason, unless it's a complete emergency, they will get their session taken away as well. They forfeit that. So again, this is all in my contract. So if the client ever tries to come back and say, you've taken my sessions away, I paid for that, I can refer them back to the contract. You know, they signed it, they've read it, they should know it's a business I'm running. So again, try have some flexibility. It does say have some flexibility. I do, you know, emergencies happen. Clients' kids might get sick, you know, things, there might be a big traffic jam. Things do happen, you know, that's life. So be as flexible as you can with clients, but don't let them take the mickey out of you. That would be my kind of thing to end with there. Marketing mix. So this is the communication between PT and customers, generally known as promotion. How do we promote our services and what we're going to do to convince them to buy the product and service. Before we move on to that, what we're going to do is jump back to your LEP. Does everybody have their LEP in front of them, or at least some notes they can take on this?
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. So let me just share the screen. So you'll see once you come past this CPD section, when we scroll down, there's the marketing research evaluation. So the slides, they don't really help so much when we think about market research. So market research, what do you guys understand about that term?
Research in the market.
That's exactly what it says, yeah. But what does it mean?
Like collecting data?
100%. It's collecting data. So now we have to think, we are PTs, okay? How do we research our market? How do we collect data on people that we potentially might want to train?
Collecting their details, or maybe do like taster sessions?
So taster sessions is marketing and promotion. It's not marketing research. But you were close. You were saying collecting the details. How would you collect details?
Doing like a survey or something?
So there's number one for you guys, a survey. Now, obviously, we're going to discuss more than just 4 here, guys. So you can pick and choose these as they come along. Don't just write the 4 first things that come down. If surveys is something you would be comfortable doing, then survey is a market research method because we can ask questions. So what would be the advantages of a survey?
It's like quantifiable, so you can have it on like your laptop and kind of have the data all there of like percentages and stuff. Like you could put it, log into some kind of computer system.
Yeah. I'd say like obviously making it quantifiable is great. It also allows us to ask questions that we need data on. That's the survey, you know, like we're going to ask questions on what we need to know about. So that's good. Having the data to collect as well is good. What would be a disadvantage of them though?
People might not want to do it.
100%. How many times have you been stopped on the street and asked to take a survey and you just walk straight by the person? I do it all the time. In Glasgow, we get asked all the time to take part in surveys in the main high streets. I'm not interested. So we might get people just walking by and not taking part. And then the last part there, it says, will this method be beneficial for your personal training? Explain the reasons for your decision. So if you say yes, you have to back up why it's good for your training. If you say no, then you just explain, I don't think it's going to be useful because of X, Y, and Z. You know, it's pretty clear if you're using something like a survey, how useful it might be to you, because you'll know I can ask questions that I need to know the answers to. That's why it's going to be important. Or I know most people in my gym wouldn't answer a survey. So, do you know what? I'm not going to use it. So, nice, easy market research technique there. Anybody got any other ones they can think of?
But a questionnaire come on the survey.
100% questionnaire. That's a totally different thing from a survey.
Yeah.
So again, advantages could be that we are going to ask questions that we want to know about, so that we can manipulate the questions. What would be a disadvantage of a questionnaire, though?
Same as the other one, no time and no interest.
No time, no interest. Yep, 100%. They might just ignore you. Again, very similar to a survey, and the fact that it could be potentially good, potentially bad. Again, you'll know, does it work for your gym? You know, because again, all these things we should be really thinking about. Can I use it in the gym? Now, to put this into perspective, I've used questionnaires before. I've used surveys before. They can work. When I used a questionnaire, it was 4 questions. How long have you been a member of the gym? What have you tried to achieve in the gym? Have you achieved it? Are you interested in personal training? That was it. Now, most people would be a gym member for a long time. They'll most likely have a goal of weight loss, and they haven't achieved weight loss, and they might have been a member for 2 years. And they might say, no, I'm not interested in personal training, because most people, that's their first answer. So what I would do is, after all that, I would say, thanks for taking part in the questionnaire. I'm going to give you a complimentary taster session on boxing, Olympic lifting, deadlifts, weight loss. And they would pick their session. I would book them in, and they would come in, get 20 minutes of my time. And do you know what? Probably about 7 of 10 of those sessions used to buy personal training. And that was just a quick questionnaire. That was me doing market research. But at the same time, I got clients off the back of it. So it can work. It can work to your advantage. Any other market research things we can think of? Can hear all the brains ticking. Okay, so there is quite a lot of different things you can do. So obviously we have social media nowadays, so we can take a social media poll. You could do your questionnaire on social media. I wouldn't use the term social media and everything we're doing, but you can definitely use it once or twice in these sections. You could do interviews. So you could interview people, find out information. It's more of a one-to-one interview. You could have a group discussion. You know, you could, what else could you do? You could have an anonymous email survey that goes out, you know, 360 surveys. And all these things can be utilized to find out information about potential clients. So out of that lot, try pick 4 and discuss them all. You know, it doesn't have to be loads of in-depth information, but we're looking for maybe a questionnaire, a survey, a group discussion, and an interview, you know, maybe something like that. But again, I've added a couple of extra ones there. So pick the ones that you think would be good for you. And then what are the advantages? What are the disadvantages? And will you use it? I would say you don't need to use all 4. Pick the one, pick the best one. And to be perfectly honest, most people are going to pick some form of social media marketing research because it's easy. You know, it's easy. If I do a poll on Instagram right now, I can have all the information in 24 hours I need. And then I can correlate it all, and then I can use it moving forward. And that's going to be something that we're going to look at later on in this part. But the next part here, and this is where we have to realize the difference in these marketing things. We've got marketing research, and then we've got marketing technique. And marketing technique is how we promote ourselves. So how would you promote yourself as a PT? Or how are you going to promote yourself as a PT, should I say?
Social media.
Social media. Everybody uses social media these days. What's an advantage of social media?
Yeah.
It's free.
It's free. That's a good advantage, yeah. What about a disadvantage then?
There's a lot of PTs on social media.
There's a lot of PTs on social media, a lot of noise. Your clients might not be on social media. Your potential clients might not use social media. We don't know. Again, all the people who go to your gym do not follow you on social media. So again, might be something to look at, might be a disadvantage. And then obviously you would then think, are you going to use it for your business? Most people are going to use social media for their business anyway, disregardless. You know, it's good to have a presence. What about other marketing techniques, guys? Anything that jumps out at you?
Advertising.
So how are you going to advertise?
Through like you could have posters and like, I don't know what they're called, but the stand-up things, like outside the gym or in the gym or whatever.
Banner. Yeah.
Yeah, banner, that's the one.
I'll tell you a good story about that. When I came back from Dubai, I worked in a gym in Glasgow, and I asked the manager, can I have a banner? Nobody else in the gym had a banner. I was like, can I have a banner? Can I have it? Can I do it? And they said, yes, only if I stood by it whenever I had it up. So I used to take it into classes. I used to stand at the front door. It cost me £75 for the banner. But it got me 6 clients. So it paid for itself. So even if you need to spend a little bit of money, guys, don't let it be as daunting as like, oh, that's £75. That's a lot of money. You know, sometimes you need to spend a little bit of money to make money. And off of that, I think I made like over £1,000, maybe 1,500 quid off of those 6 clients that I then had. And that was only in the first intake. They then got months and months of training after that. So really, I made a lot of money from £75 of spend. So yeah, a banner would be good advertisement. That would be a marketing technique. Any other ones, guys?
Would business cards be one, or is that
100%, 100%, because it's promotion of your business. So a business card, I would say, is always essential because it should be with your profile on the gym wall. It should be there for you to give out to clients whenever they need one. Yeah, business card would be essential. I think leaflets probably fall into the same category. But as I said before, not everybody will keep a hold of leaflets. Not everybody keeps a hold of business cards. So is it good for you? Think about the advantages, disadvantages, and are you going to use it? Any other ones? So we heard about taster sessions earlier on. Taster sessions can be a marketing technique. So if I want clients to come and try my services, I might give out 20-minute taster sessions. I never use the word free because when people hear the word free, they assume that there's a catch. Whenever you hear the word free, people always assume that there's going to be something behind it, like what is it? You know, like what am I getting put into here? So instead, I use the word complimentary. So complimentary taster session, complimentary free session if you buy this many sessions. You know, it has a little bit more substance to it. And if you think about it, if you heard that you were going to get a free glass of champagne or a complimentary glass of champagne, which one seems more fancy? Is it the free glass of champagne or the complimentary glass of champagne? If I had my choice, I'd be picking complimentary. It sounds more fancy. So, yeah, remember you've got your taster sessions. Another technique I used in the past was giving out freebies. So I used to do a little seminar on Skittles. So I used to talk about Skittles and how they were good for after your training if you were doing bodybuilding. And I used to have a big giant bowl of Skittles, and then people would come across. I worked in a gym that had a creche at the time, so loads of the kids would drag their parents across to me. And yeah, that meant I could speak to them, talk about my seminar, but I would give them away a little bit of a freebie, and then that helped me get clients. When I was allowed to, I gave out protein balls. I made them myself, and what I gave away was a recipe. And on the recipe was my details about personal training, and I asked them to bring me back a version of the protein ball. So I got fat really quickly because they all brought me loads of different versions of their protein balls. But, you know, it was great fun because it gave them a bit of something to do at home, taught them a little bit about nutrition. But at the same time, it gave me notoriety in the gym. Oh, there's that guy that was giving out the free protein. And people came to me for sessions. So giveaways can be quite powerful if you know how to do them. So these are loads of different marketing techniques that you can utilize for your own business. Think about what's good for you. I know I said giving away like protein balls there and diet stuff, but you can also do physical workouts. You could give out weight loss plans. You know, here's a free weight loss plan. You know, not every client is going to know what to do with a workout plan. They might try it, they might not succeed, and then they might come back to you for some help. That's why these things can be really useful, even if the client doesn't understand they're going to be buying into personal training at some point. So we want to get 4 of these marketing techniques in here, discuss the advantages, discuss the disadvantages, and then will you use it for your business? So that's the first 2 sections. Market research, we think about how are we going to find the data? And then secondly, how are we going to then market ourselves to the clients? Now the boxes underneath, you'll see here, it's worth quite a few marks, guys. So this is the kind of detail we need for this. It says most appropriate methods to market your business. That's where we think, are we going to be using social media to market our business? If we are, what are we going to do on social media? Why are we using social media? It plays into those advantages and disadvantages. We need to give a fuller explanation here. So we are selecting one of the marketing techniques to answer this big box here, and really go into the detail behind it. As you can see there, it's 4 marks. So you need to get a good couple of sentences in there on why it's appropriate for you to use that marketing technique. How market research will be conducted. So this little box here to the left-hand side, we need to go back up to this first group and pick one of the research methods. Again, it might be social media because that's what a lot of people use these days. So you might do your research on social media. That's all that really goes in there. But in this next box about how the data will be analysed, this is where we need to go into the detail of what we'll use it for. So like I said, I might use a social media poll. I might use it because I want to find out how many people I have on social media want to gain muscle, so that I can then market better to those people and adjust my offering online. That might be how I analyze the data. It could be a survey, could be that I've used a survey, I've got my answers, and I'm going to utilize those answers to change how I market to the clients in the gym. Because it turns out all the people in the gym are looking for HIIT workouts. So now I know that, I'm going to market HIIT workouts. So this little section here, it doesn't have to be overly convoluted, guys. It can be quickly done, but that's what it is ascertaining to. You know, what are you going to use to market your business? How do you do your research? And how is that data analyzed? So we're utilizing these 8 boxes to complete these little ones down here. Does that make sense? Yeah. Excellent. So before we go on to the business plan part of this, I'm going to jump back to the slides. We actually just completed this marketing technique bit, so we're going to look a little bit at it, but really we've covered a lot of it. So marketing, websites. Is anybody considering getting a website?
Sure.
Okay, so from experience, websites cost a lot of money.
Yeah, that's.
I built my own website during lockdown. That saved me a lot of money, but it is a lot of upkeep. There's a lot of stuff you need to do with it. Search engine optimization, again, can be quite expensive. So if you are looking to do a website, guys, it might be something to do later down the line. You know, I've been a PT for a decade or so, and it took me till lockdown to actually get a website. Never used it. And to be fair, I get enough inquiries through it to justify having one. But is it something I would have earlier on in my career? Definitely not. It's not needed. It's an expense I don't really need. Social media, brilliant. Obviously, free method of marketing yourself. Great. You know, you can use all sorts of different TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. They all have their different uses. And I think understanding what they're each used for is a even more powerful tool than just saying social media is what I'm going to use. So understanding what each social media can do for you is going to be really helpful. Webinars and blogs. I've delivered my fair share of webinars over the years. I've written loads of articles and stuff. It doesn't really help, I don't think, you know, because a lot of the time you're writing something for somebody and it's free, you know, you don't get paid for it. When I'm doing webinars, it's usually to students or to the fitness community. I've done some in-person trade fairs. You'll see at the end. I've done a talk on rehab and prehab. I've been to the body power and delivered courses there as well. You know, these things are great, but, you know, do people really remember you? I don't know. Or maybe I'm just not talking good enough. I don't know. But yeah, be careful that you don't get just pulled into doing these things for free and you don't see any benefit from it. If it will benefit you, 100% go for it, you know. Media. So I've been in the newspaper a couple of times. I've been on big papers and stuff like that. It's great. But again, I didn't see any jump in my personal training business because my business was always located in a gym. It was never in the north of Scotland, for instance. You know, nowadays that I'm an online PT, I could take on clients from all over the country. But really, when I'm getting started, is being in the local media going to be something that's helpful? Is being in the national media going to be something that's helpful? You know, there is going to be help there, but I would say work with your local newspapers, get involved in local events. I was forever getting involved in local events, and that got me lots of clients because then people were actually there to physically see me do stuff. Like I did a bungee jump for charity, and people came along from the gym to see it, and they brought their friends, and their friends bought personal training. So it can work in your advantage. Flyers, posters, business cards. It's a very sad statistic on this. for every 1,000 flyers that get given out, usually you get 1 return. So if you had to go and post out 1,000 flyers, you might only get 1 client out of that, if you get any. Business cards, obviously, people will keep a hold of them a little bit longer. And posters, think about it yourself, guys. How often do you actually read a poster in the gym unless you're bored? You know, probably the best place to put posters, if you're going to be putting a poster in the gym, is on the toilet doors, because people can't go anywhere. So that's the best place to put them. Email marketing can be quite time consuming. You have to gather email addresses. You have to make sure that you are putting them into different categories, because you don't want to send out an email to everybody and it's about nothing they're interested in. They will just keep deleting your emails or ask to be removed from your list. I've done email marketing. It's horrible. It's hard to capture attention. You don't get many replies, and the replies you get are usually not nice. If it's done properly and you do get the subcategories right, and you do make sure that you're sending out the right information to masses of people, you can actually have some success with email marketing. Is it something you want to do for your own business to get started with? That'll be up to you and how many email addresses you have. But it doesn't mean you can't start to gather them as you get clients. Keep your clients' email addresses, keep them in categories, and that way, periodically, you can send them an email saying, haven't seen you in a while, haven't spoken to you in a while, here's some information on the goal that you wanted to get. Hopefully you're getting somewhere towards that. And it might just give them the push to get you to do, get them to do personal training with you. Marketing platforms. Again, you could use Instagram to market yourself and pay for those marketing. There's currently a PT in my area who always is on my social media feed because he's paid money to be on. And he talks about something to do with personal training, but I just scroll past him. And that's the unfortunate thing with doing marketing on the marketing platforms, is people can quite quickly just scroll past you, and you might have paid a lot of money. So you need to make sure the message you are sending out is really accurate and really for the people you're looking to train. Obviously, word of mouth, that's a really good one. You know, what people are saying about you in the gym. Referral incentives. I would say every PT should have a referral incentive. Why? Because if I have a client in front of me and they have 5 friends, if they get their friends to buy training with me, I'll give my client a free session for every single package that people buy. So they could end up with 5 free sessions. That's great for them. Doesn't cost me any money because I've just made 5 new clients. It costs me time, but it doesn't cost me any money. So referral incentives are brilliant. It doesn't even have to be you give out a complimentary session or a free session. It could be that you give them a hoodie if they get somebody to buy personal training with you, or they get a water bottle, or they get some sort of gift for getting somebody to come and do training with you. But I would only ever give something away once the person has signed up to do personal training. There's no point in me giving out referral stuff if they haven't signed up. If they just inquire and they don't sign up, then that person doesn't get the complimentary session or whatever else. And as I said, the trade fair, the exhibitions, they can be helpful. But again, you know, unless it's more local, it's going to be harder for you to get clients from it. Is there anything that anybody else can think of that's not on the list? Because that's a quite comprehensive list. Anything anybody else would do? All good, all good. Well, as I said, there was also the added stuff like giving out giveaways and handouts and stuff like that I spoke about. So there is other marketing methods and techniques. It's all what suits you, remember. Some people will be more like myself. I could just walk up to anybody in the gym and start chatting and have a bit of fun. but sometimes we need something to give us a little bit of a boost. So you might want to have a clipboard and say, I'm taking a questionnaire today. Do you mind answering it? It's only 3 questions. You know, people will give you the time of day. Most people are quite polite. So again, if you need to market and you need a little bit of help and support, sometimes a clipboard is all you really need. Maybe even put on a Q&A session. You know, that's another method you could use, because that'll get people to come and ask you questions. But yeah, there's loads of stuff you can use, guys. So just think what is going to be best for you. Finding clients in the gym. This is a great one, guys. So any PT I've ever dealt with in the world who says, I can't get clients, they haven't been spending enough time in the gym. And that is through experience. That is what I've seen over the years. PTs who tend not to have a good business are not spending the time in the gym that they need to. Now, you don't need to spend all the day in the gym. I'm a crazy, crazy person. So I used to come in at 6 in the morning and leave at 10 at night. That was my average day for the first couple of months working in the gym. But you don't need to do that. What you do need to do is be there when you need clients, because that's when you meet your potential clients. So if you want a client at 6 a.m. in the morning, you need to be in the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning, speaking to the people who come to the gym at 6 a.m. in the morning. Then eventually you'll get a client at 6 a.m. in the morning. That's how it works. But if you're not there, if you're there in the afternoon when it's dead and there's hardly anybody coming in the gym, how are you going to meet a 6 a.m. client? You don't. So be there when you want the clients. If you want to be busy from 6 till 10, be there from 6 till 10. You know, if that's the morning or the evening, doesn't matter, but you need to meet the people who come to your gym in that time frame to be able to actually speak to them and get clients from them. Now, how you then do that is up to yourself. And that's where some of this other stuff comes in. So having a gym floor presence, walking about, saying hi to everybody. You don't particularly need to know everybody's name. Eventually, the people who are going to be your clients will start to make themselves more known to you. People who are just going to have a chit chat, they're going to be making themselves known to you as well. Meeting and greeting members, I used to love doing that. If I'm new to the gym, hi, I'm Neil. I'm one of the PTs here. See if you need any help with anything, come and speak to me. I'd love to give you some advice. Advice is free, by the way. And just have a little bit of a laugh with them. You know, I don't want to make people be afraid to speak to me. I want them coming up to me. The PT board and up-to-date contracts, contact details. The amount of times PTs changed their email address or phone number and didn't tell me meant that when they had contacts, nothing was getting through. And I've had that quite a lot of times. So if you have your profile up in the wall, 100%, you know, like make sure the details are correct. That's a given. The other thing you can do, how many times have you seen people at the PT board looking at the board in your gyms, guys? Does it happen that often? Every now and again?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next question. How often do you see a PT going up and speaking to that person?
All the time.
All the time?
Yeah.
Then you've got a good gym, because any gym I've worked at, they don't go and speak to them.
No.
And
yeah, they do so.
Yeah, you need to go and speak to the people. If a person is looking at the PT board, they are considering taking personal training. You know, so go and speak to them. My one was always, I would go up behind them so they couldn't see me, and I'd say, oh, that guy Neil's the best personal training there. You should look at his profile. And they wouldn't know it's me. They'd turn around, they'd have a little bit of a chuckle. I'd be like, no, seriously, I'm the best PT, so buy PT with me. You know, and that would break down barriers. I did get clients doing that, believe it or not. And because that person was considering personal training, it was actually a couple the last time I did it. They both looked at me, had a bit of a chuckle, between the two of them, they bought about 60 sessions in total. So I got a decent amount of pay out of the two of them. And they were phenomenal clients, but they'd been mistreated in the past by another PT. The PT wasn't very forthcoming with help and didn't treat them as well as they could have. So when I went up and had a little bit of a laugh with them, I broke down barriers. They told me what went on. I made sure they had an amazing time. And then they only left me because they left the country, you know, or else they would have continued training. So that can be a really easy way to get a win. Go over and speak to them. That person's already considering personal training. Inductions, obviously at level 2, you cover how to do group inductions. If somebody goes to an induction, they need help. They need help. That's why people go to an induction. They need help understanding the gym, understanding the equipment, understanding how to train, understanding nutrition. They need help. We should be the ones to be there to provide that help and eventually and hopefully get personal training. One-to-one programs that can be offered for people who don't want to go full into personal training. Taster sessions, like we said, don't do a full hour, do 20 minutes. 20 minutes is still enough to showcase your ability in something and make them want more. If you give them a full session, sometimes they're like, well, I've just got a full session, so cool, bye-bye, ta-ta. You know, they won't treat it as being as important. Whereas if they just get a taster of what you can do for them, they want more. And that's why taster sessions can be really good. Technique classes, learn to lift. Again, for here it says gymnastic technique class, stretch and roll. It can be powerlifting class. It can be anything you want to show off that you can do something and get people involved. Gym challenges, create a community challenge. So create something that you might, I mean, it can be anything, it can be daft. You know, we did a Halloween challenge one year where it was just, how long can you hold the pumpkin out in front of you? And that's all it was. And anybody can take that challenge, because if you're walking in and you're still in your work gear, you can hold out the pumpkin in front of you, it's fine, it's easy. If you're leaving the gym after your workout, you can have a go, you know, and then whoever won that, they got a PT package. That was the thing we did. But I got loads of details of people who I could then email, who I could then send out messages to and see if they needed any support. So these things can be really good for gathering in details. Social media, we've spoke about that. Professional networking, you know, is there any reason why you can't reach out to other PTs and get some support? Successful PTs will usually give you the time of day and give you help and support. I'm forever giving out support to other PTs when they message me, or clients or anybody, you know, like that's my thing. I like to give out support. Leaflets, we've talked about how we can use that. Business cards, promotion in classes, like I said, maybe do a 20% discount just for the people who come to your class, but you've only got 5. Make it in demand so that people can come up and take one of your business cards. And then the next class, if you get rid of all 5, get 5 more, do it for the next class, you know. Word of mouth, friends and family, get them to help you out, you know. Do they have anybody that needs to get trained? We've talked about referring a friend and your kind of stuff for that. Competitions, I used to give away stuff for local charities quite a lot. If I'm not working for a charity, I'm usually doing something for them. That could be giving away a personal training session or anything, you know. So work with your local charities if that's good for you. You know, that's something I'm passionate about. Did it help my business? I don't know, but it does give you a talking point with your clients, and it can help you promote charity work if that's what you like doing. Affiliation, again, if you want to be affiliated with stuff, there's loads of companies out there that will take you on, but what are you getting for it? So that's what I would think about. So the biggest case of this was during lockdown, when Gymshark was like, we will pay you to come and do workouts on their channel. And I know people that did it, and they get paid like 20 quid to do 4 workouts. do that. That's devaluing my time. And do you know what? None of these people are big PTs, and none of these people really increase their social media following. So why do it? You know, my affiliation is with a DNA company. I work with a DNA company, and I've got my own codes to get people discounts, but I use it for my clients because I can get extra information for the client, extra information from me, so I can see about their genetics and how I can help them improve even better. So it works for me. It works for the affiliation. We both get something out of it, you know? So again, cross promotion is a good one if you want to work with other personal trainers. You know, that's a really good one. Other personal trainers in your gym, you might be really good at one thing, they might be really good at another. Come together and you can offer something unique. So that's another really good one to kind of market yourself with. Client retention. So we'll do this as a group, guys, instead of putting you into small groups. So how are you going to retain your clients? How are you going to keep your clients training with you?
Ensure that you're meeting their needs while you're training them.
Doesn't mean they'll stay.
Say that again?
Doesn't mean they'll stay. So I could be getting my client to their goal and they still might leave.
No, but in theory, there's no real reason, really, not reason, sorry, but there's no way to guarantee they're not going to leave. Like, because they could wake up one day and just decide they don't want to do it anymore. So
there's a lot of things we can do to stop that, and that's what this is all about. It's about retention strategy. So if I get a client to their goal, they might just leave because they've got their goal. If I don't put anything in place to get the client to decide to stay with me, they're going to leave. So I could be putting in really good workouts for the client, but they might leave. What else can I do to keep the client working out with me? That's what client retention is. So what do you think you can do to get client retention?
Could do like different reviews with them. So like make sure that you're talking with them, and if they like require anything else, like so you're checking in to see if they're happy with the service that you're giving. And then you could also give like little incentives along the way. Like, I mean, you could even do it where you give an offer of like a month's worth of training or something, so they pay up front, and it ends up being cheaper than if they were to pay like weekly or something like that.
Yeah, so if the client's on a pay-as-you-go schedule, you could offer them the block booking at the end of the pay-as-you-go schedule and say, look, you're going to save a bit of money if you just pay in the block booking. You could do client reviews. Now, you covered this at level 2. You know, you're going to review a client at the 4, the 8, the 12-week period. Reviews are there to help the client understand they're progressing. Now, even if the client sees all the progression, if you don't put it down in numbers in front of them, sometimes they'll just be like, right, cool, I've got my goal, I'm away. If we put it down on numbers in front of them, we can say, right, that was your target. We've succeeded. Let's reset. Let's get a new goal. And that's where we can't just leave the client to their own devices. They need to be able to see these things. And that's why quantifiable goals are so important, because then we can say, right, what's next? What are we going to look for next? So client reviews are really important for retention. Now, not every PT does them, but they are really, really important. Anything else we would do for retention? I understand it's quite hard when you've not been in the PT world to think like, well, how do I keep my clients? But that's essentially what this task is. How are you going to keep your clients? Any ideas? Okay, I'll give you a little olive branch. What about a birthday card? What about a Christmas card? Is that going to be helpful to a client? It's going to make them feel like, do you know what? This person cares about me. Now, if a client is paying £120 for an average block and you spend £5 on a gift and a card, you know, that's going to make them feel important and that you're not just there to take the money. That actually does help with retention because they feel important. Clients tend to leave when they don't feel important, when they feel like they're just another number to you. So giving them a little present, making note of special occasions, you know, that's really important to a client, you know. So a lot of the time I would get a client a birthday card. Maybe I would give them a voucher for a complimentary session for their birthday. Sometimes I would buy them something to do with what they've spoken about in sessions. You know, sometimes it would be a fitness gift. Sometimes it would just be my client likes coffee, so I'll get them a coffee mug. You know, it didn't have to be anything too mental, but it really helps with retention. Same at Christmas time. You know, you've got clients paying you money all year long. Get them a Christmas card. Get them a box of chocolates. Well, maybe not chocolates if they're trying to lose weight, but definitely get them a little something, you know, and that can really help with retention. What other things could we do with retention then? No ideas? Just all quiet. Okay, so really this is an area that you're obviously all going to have to delve into, guys. Now there is a question on retention. We're looking for you guys to actually answer that in the business acumen. So please delve into retention. Please delve into what things you can do to keep your clients training with you. We've only given you 2 ideas there. You know, that is giving gifts for special occasions and client reviews. But there's so many other things you can do to retain your clients. Things that can really make them feel important to the business, make them feel important to you as a whole, and keep them training with you overall. If we do nothing and we just train a person, they'll have no loyalty to us. They'll not want to stay with us if they get a better offer to train somewhere else. And I had clients who used to train with me for up to 5 years at a time, not because they wanted to train for 5 years, but because they didn't want to move on to another trainer. They didn't want to move on because they knew what to do. They just wanted to train with me because they liked my banter. So that was due to all the retention factors I had in place. Now, your idea of retention might be different from mine's, but it's definitely something that you'll need to research, guys, because you're going to have to come up with at least 1 point to let us understand you understand retention. So that's definitely something to look into this evening, because again, the business acumen task will be the thing we're doing tonight. So client retention, referral strategies, this is what I want you to look into. What are you going to do? That's what can give you some retention. Communities on Facebook, you know, that's a really good way to make a community. Group exercise, you know, get your clients coming along to group exercise to keep them continuing their touch points with you. Make fitness accessible. What other payment methods could you do? Interact, engage regularly. Don't just say, oh, I'll see you at your next session. Send them messages now and again. Give them support. Email them. Make sure you're always in contact. Get feedback. If you don't know what the client's thinking, you'll never know how to retain them. You know, if you don't know they've got a big bill coming up next month and they might need to take a month off and they feel bad about it, how are you going to retain that client for the month coming after that when they have the spare cash again? They might not come back to you if you haven't helped them. So ongoing education for clients. You know, don't just tell your client what to do all the time. Actually put on some events for your clients. Get all your clients together. That's a really good way to get your clients to retain and keep with you. Social events. Maybe not going to the pub with all your clients, but definitely having a social, you know, maybe having a lunch. There's lots of like fitness places nowadays that you can have lunch in. So that could be a good place to have a social event, get all your clients together, let them bitch about you, how hard you've trained them, celebrate achievements, birthdays, events, like I said. Be honest, realistic, and manage their expectations. If you say you will succeed in getting them a six-pack in 2 weeks and they've not got a six-pack, you've not managed the expectations, they will probably leave you. So again, don't just look at what's on this slide, guys. Go and do some research on client retention. Go do your research and find out what's good for you, because this is the stuff you're going to have to put in place to make sure your clients continue with you. So we've discussed this part. This is a different part. So I'm going to skip on back to your LEP. We're going to talk a little bit about this. So, business plan. Aims and objectives of your business. So what it means here is, what is your business trying to achieve? What is your business going to be about? What is the objectives of your business? For me, it's trying to make sure that people are able to manage their own lives and fitness. That's the objective. The aims I have are quite lofty. I want to change the country, but you know, I might never do that. But that's the aims of my business. I want to change the country and make it more healthy. Might be more grandiose than you want to do, but you know, think about what your aim of the business is. Is it to make mums healthier? Is it to make sure that bodybuilders understand how to train properly? What are the objectives going to be to get you to that aim? We then have the stages and milestones. So what is going to make your business successful? What do you see your business being successful as? So that comes in stages and milestones. When you get 10 clients, that might be a milestone. When you get your first £1,000, that might be a milestone. You're going to decide your own milestones. But when we talk about stages, we're talking about maybe the first few months of your PT career. What does that stage look like? You know, what are you doing to get your business to be successful? And usually we'll have a few stages and then the milestone happens. So it might be the milestone is to make £20,000. Stage 1 might be getting your first 5 clients. Stage 2 might be getting your first 5 referrals. Stage 3 might be having 15 clients for 3 months without any drop-offs. And then the milestone might happen. You know, you've got your 20 grand over the year. So again, stages and milestones are going to be very individual to your business. Make sure that you're the one that's picking these and you're not just picking them off of already pre-made ones, because there is loads out there. Think about your business. Think about what stages you need your business to go through before you get to a certain goal. Unique selling points. We've talked about this. You know, what makes you unique. So we want you to add in that extra material there. Marketing strategy. We've talked about the marketing strategies, guys. We've talked about what things you can use to get clients. And that's what this part's all about. What are you going to be doing to get clients? But remember, I did say the retaining part is going to be here. And that's where the retaining part goes. So we want to see different things about what kind of marketing you're going to do to get clients. And then what are you going to do at the end to retain them? So who are you wanting to work with? What kind of stuff are you going to do to get them? How are you going to keep them training with you? So 3 really consistent points there. And you can add more and more stuff to that if you like. So multiple different strategies you might use, multiple different retain techniques. And also you might be looking at multiple different demographics that you're training. So again, it's a big section for you to fill out. It's an important session because that's going to be the whole point of your business. You're getting clients. Then underneath, we have these 3 boxes, and sometimes people get confused with this. So it does say resources to require to plan, prepare, and launch the business. So the first box, what kind of stuff do you need to do to plan your business? So are you going to be thinking about how far away your gym is? So that means I need to plan in my car journey. I might need to plan in making up a social media. I might need to plan in doing all sorts of other things. That's just in the planning stages of being a PT. Now you've been there, you've probably done that already. You probably have a little bit of insight into what's ahead of you. The second box is preparing. So that might be, I'm going to have to get gym equipment. I'm going to have to get a uniform. I'm going to have to get a laptop so I can do stuff for my clients. That's all stuff that you'll need, so you have it there before you launch the business, which is the third box. And the reality with launching a business is you're going to need things like insurance. You might need to pay gym rent. So when you launch the business, there's maybe going to be less things going on, but essentially you're going to need those big items like insurance and gym rent, somewhere to train people, and maybe even some sort of extra equipment. You might even need flyers and balloons and stuff if you want to have a big launch. That'll be really up to yourself if you want to put that in. So that's the next 3 boxes. And then underneath, you'll see areas of risk and difficulty and contingency plans to address the risks and difficulties. So areas of risk and difficulty, that's things that could be commonly going on in your gym. So it could be that your gym is in a deprived area and people don't have the money for personal training. That could put you at risk. Your business could be at risk. It could make it difficult. So that's a thing that could go in there potentially. It could be that you're new to the industry. You're not as confident with training. So clients might get injured. So that could be an area of risk. COVID might be coming back in your area. That might be a risk. The other box there, contingency plans, is how are we going to make sure that if this does happen, we're okay? So if the clients, they live in a deprived area, maybe look at a different pricing structure so you can address that. If it is a case of you're worried about client injury, maybe it's going to extra courses to be able to lift better and be able to demonstrate things better. And if it is COVID, then again, making sure that you are adhering to all health and safety and making sure that you are always compulsory doing that with yourself and the client to stay safe. And this doesn't have to be a massive area, but I would try get at least a couple of points in there, guys, and a couple of contingency plans to get past that. You will know what kind of difficulties you will face in your own gym. Could be just speaking to people isn't one of your things. You're not really good at that. So that could be going to a speaking course. So it can be quite simple or it can be quite hard. Question?
Yeah. I've got to go and shift my car again. Oh, that'll be me.
Okay, buddy, you'll just need to catch up in the recording because there is a little bit still to go, okay?
It's recording, isn't it? So
yeah.
That's fine. All right, thank you for today.
No worries, buddy. See you tomorrow and then good luck with the test.
Yeah, cheers. See you in a bit.
Next bit, guys, health and safety, legal insurance requirements. That should be nice and simple for you. You know we need to have legal requirements. What are they? Is there anything specific about what your gym needs from you to do? Put that in that box. The next box, professional standards to implement. You'll see it says 6 marks. We're looking for 6 things. Now, these are going to be your standards. Remember, earlier on in the day, we talked about what your values were. So what are going to be the standards of your business? What is the professional standards that you want to implement and you want your business to be known as? You have a list of some of them, so utilize them. But if you're looking for other stuff, it might be that you want to implement health and safety properly, so you will always do a PARQ with the client. The client will always be given a feedback sheet at the end of a block. You know, I will be professional at all times in the way that I look. These could be professional standards that you want to implement, but it is really down to yourself, and these will be unique to you. So try get 6 in there, and that will really help you. When we look at this box here, the budget overview, planning, preparation, and launch. Now, we just did that up here, planning, preparation, and launch. So all the items that go in this box, they then go into these boxes and then put a price tag to them. So if you need to plan out your car journey to the gym, maybe it costs you £20 per week in fuel. Put that in there. It's a budget cost. Preparation costs, you know, you might have to buy a new laptop. There's £1,000 that you've just spent. Launch costs, you might have to get insurance. That's £70 straight off the bat. You know, so put the actual figures for what you've done above. That's a nice simple task to do because you've already got the answers really. You just need to put a cost attached to it. And if it costs nothing, just put 0. You know, it costs 0. You know, maybe you've got some balloons for your occasion, for launching, so you don't need to buy them, 0 cost. So that's a nice, easy one. That should be nice and simple to complete. When it comes to the profit and loss account, guys, this is a little bit harder for some, but we want to keep it as simple as possible for us, okay? So profit, things that come in, income, PT money. That's going to be one of your first things. Any additional money that comes in, are you going to be teaching classes? That could be a different line. Are you going to be doing programs? That could be a different line. But keep it as simple as you want to. Might be that it just is PT money, what people are spending on your PT business, and the gym paying you money. That could be your sources of income. You might only have the 2 coming in. Write in for each quarter. So whatever you're earning over the 3-month periods for each of them, and then leave it. Expenditure wise, it might be gym rent. That might be the only expenditure you have. You might have gym rent, you might have cost of your car for journeying to the gym. Again, take it off. It might be that you have to pay up your insurance over 12 months. That could be a cost that you put in there. It's really up to yourself. For this next part, guys, really take this down as a note. So gross profit, the calculation formula is your income minus the cost of goods. And what that means is it's how much you earn overall minus anything that costs you to do that. Now, because we're keeping this nice and simple, you shouldn't have any issue with that. It should be just your income. So that box there, all 4 quarters added up, and that should give you your year 1 projection of your gross profit. Because the cost of a good would be if you give out a hoodie with your personal training program, there would then be a cost attributed to that hoodie because you'd have to buy that. So then you'd have to take that money away from what you're earning. So that would be a cost of the goods. Because personal training, we can literally write it down or do a spreadsheet and sell it on. There is no cost. So unless you want to make it a little bit more difficult and add in things like that, then for now, I would just keep it nice and simple, and then you can just put in the expenditure. For net profit, it is your gross profit minus your expenditure or minus costs. And then that's a pretty easy sum total to do. You're just putting in that year one projection minus any expenditure that you have. So again, you'll know from your line how much you're going to make. You might be making £9,000 over the four quarters, and then you've spent £1,000 in expenditure. So overall, you're going to make 8,000 in the year. What they do down here is just a quick overflow forecast. Cash in and cash out, very simple. You know, you're putting in how much cash comes into the business overall. So if you have 3 elements up here, add them together, and that'll give you your total cash in for Q1. And then if you've got 2 elements here, add them up, and that will be your cash out for Q1. Very simple calculation. It's just a breakdown of the year, pretty much. So don't overcomplicate this area. It is pretty easy to do. Last little bit, guys, before I let you go, is the digital profile. So most people here will either be already using their social medias to help promote their businesses, but this is a quite easy question to answer. So how would you use digital profiles to positively promote your business? So that could be things like doing inspirational quotes. It could be getting across your positivity each day. It could be giving out exercise advice. It's all the things that you're going to do that really help you have a positive profile online. So that answer there could be anything to do with how you perceive positivity in your social media. So it doesn't have to be overly complicated. It can just be a nice sum up of what you're going to be doing to keep that positivity in your social media and promote your business. The next 2 boxes you'll see here, it says IT applications that will be used to support your business planning and delivery. So social media, we could think Instagram, that might be the social media platform. TikTok might be the platform you use to promote your business. But then you might be using Microsoft Excel to design program cards, or you might be using Microsoft Word. So any kind of technology you're using, we're just picking 2 different types and making sure that we then talk about the risks, the benefits of each application in the next line, and how we're going to use each application to monitor, interpret, and manage your business. So if I'm using Instagram, say as my first IT application, the risks and benefits, well, the benefits are loads of people have Instagram, loads of people go onto it every day to view things about fitness. So it's going to increase my viewership and I might get more personal training out of it. The risks, I might get lost in the noise. I might be putting a lot of effort in, a lot of time, and not getting too much return. How will I use the application? Well, I can look at all the stuff to do with insights in Instagram, and I can use all that information to then build better content. You know, so if people aren't looking at stuff to do with muscle gain, maybe I'll switch over to athletic performance. Maybe I switch over stuff to weight loss and start talking about that. Whatever's going to get me the most viewership. If I'm using spreadsheets, benefits of using a spreadsheet is it can be made to look professional. The risk might be that I lose all my spreadsheets because I didn't back them up. You know, so I'll need to have a backup system in place. How will it be used to interpret and manage the business? Well, I'll be able to make sure that all my clients have individual folders for their own workouts, so I can then produce them when they need them. So there is a good application there to manage my business. And that little bit there, it shouldn't take too long, guys. It's just a nice little overview of any IT products you might use for helping your own business. Now, I know there's a lot in this business acumen, guys. Hopefully it's been broken down quite well for you. But before we go away today, is there any questions on this? know it's a lot of information, guys, so if you don't have any questions, don't worry about it. But if you do, now's the time to ask them. It means I can answer them before you go away and complete this evening.
Could you give an example of preparation costs?
Yeah, so preparation costs, we're thinking about things maybe like you need to buy a bit of uniform, you need new trainers, you might need a piece of equipment because you like using that and the gym doesn't have it. So you're preparing for what you're going to be doing. And that's what preparation costs are really about. It doesn't have to be anything too spectacular. You know, you might be wanting to launch a business, so you build the website in preparation of it. So that could be one. You might need a laptop to do that. So to prepare, you need to buy the laptop. So again, just what you feel is going to be needed for your preparation in the business.
Thanks.
No. Any other questions, guys? Okay. Well, I've kept you long enough, guys. So if you want to jump off the call, you can do now. Your homework tonight is to finish that business acumen and prepare for your exams. So good luck. And if you need anything, I'll be contactable tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
No worries. See you tomorrow.